while she's doing that, I'll read her bio. Sarah's a public health consultant, currently working on a project related to children's mental health. Over the past 9 years, she has consulted on public health initiatives in the area of tobacco prevention and cessation, adolescent health, nutrition, and childhood obesity prevention. She has expertise in program evaluation, including the National Tobacco Cessation Collaborative Project and the National Collaboration on Childhood Obesity. Prior to becoming an independent consultant, Sarah was a policy analyst and then senior project director at the Association of Maternal and Child Health Programs. Her work focused on developing capacity-building projects for members of the association. Before coming to the association, she was a health policy analyst at Mathematica Policy Research Incorporated. She has a master's degree in social work at the University of Pennsylvania. Sarah's a local, and so lives there with Kenzie, Jim, her husband Mike, and their children, Lisa and Gail, are over there. In school. And they also have their 2 Labrador retrievers, Ramon and Bobo. They all love lots of kids, including the Labrador retrievers. Sarah's also the co-chair of our religious school committee, and her little prop here includes some nuts. So if anyone has nut allergies, you do. How? Can you be in the room or not? You can be. You don't have to eat it. Okay, Sarah, we're ready for you now.
Good morning, and thank you for the opportunity to talk with you today about the superiority of the latke. In preparation for today's talk, I'd be lying if I didn't admit to having gone through a few ideas before landing on the right one. I wondered, should I talk about the perfect symmetry of the latke and how the roundness centers us? Or perhaps highlight the nutritional value in a potato? I understood my goal to be offering you guidance in your decision regarding the better delicacy. Well, I'm delighted to bring you some good news. There really is no decision to make because you, the people of Congregation Beth El, have already made the choice. You have already proclaimed the latke the best. Let me explain. When posed with a question as important as this, the best place to look for answers is within ourselves. Looking inward reveals our deepest needs, our interests, shall we say, cravings. Last year, we were presented with a question quite similar to the one we're addressing today. It held almost the same importance, the same depth, the same weight as the question we face today. We were asked to determine our needs in a senior rabbi. Through that process, we also learned quite a bit about ourselves as a community. Thankfully, those parlor meetings and surveys, the conversations and the emails, they all yielded some very clear themes about what we wanted and continue to want for our future. We, as a community, determined that we want Greg Harris, Senior Latke. Let me highlight how our deepest hopes and desires point to the latke and to Greg. We boiled it down to 4 key elements: optionality, simplicity, connectivity, and miracles. As respondents to surveys and participants in parlor meetings, we spoke passionately about wanting options in our programming, in our minyanim, in our religious school offerings. We also want to keep things feeling simple or Hamish. Further, we want to feel connected to each other, to our shul, to the broader community. And finally, we want to be a place that makes miracles happen and celebrates those miracles. Let's discuss these one by one. Options. Latkes can be experienced as salty, sweet, spicy, hot, cold, or room temperature. Searching just 2 cooking websites, hardly a thorough search, yields 93 different recipes for our simple latke. Lots of options. There is something for everyone. And they grant the option of mobility. Who sits still anymore doing one thing at a time? They can, with the aid of an electric deep fryer, be cooked anywhere. Like a latke, Greg is all about options. He talks Talmud in his car. He talks Talmud in a bar. He likes prayers with Nitzanim. He likes prayers with Shittufim. A minion here, a classroom there. Rabbi Greg is everywhere. Simplicity. While many options do exist, there are few foods as simple and straightforward as the latke. Basically comprised of 3 ingredients: egg, onion, and of course potato. Each ingredient a round symbol of completeness. And its most important ingredient, the potato, keeps us grounded, connected to the earth. The instructions for how to cook latkes are equally as simple. Shred, mix, fry. Like a potato, Greg is familiar. A potato is honest, humble, imperfect, even lumpy. A potato, not unlike Greg, is wholesome. It's workmanlike, unlike the showy Hamantash with its fancy center of apricot, strawberry, and chocolate. Similarly, Greg is not, as my grandma would say, ungapachnik. He is, well, simple. In these days, when our lives feel as logistically challenging as a SEAL Team 6 operation, isn't it refreshing and almost meditative to be able to pull out a pan and fry a latke while talking to your friends? Connectivity. According to the International Potato Center, where coincidentally Rabbi Harris interned in 1987, potatoes are produced in about 100 countries around the world. More than 1 billion people worldwide eat potato. Conceivably, one could whip up a batch of latkes anywhere, like in a chapel, and make some friends doing so. The potato facilitates togetherness. Cooking latkes draws people in and creates a shared experience of bleeding knuckles and minor burns. Entering a house in which latkes have been prepared offers us a tie that binds. The familiar aroma welcomes us in and draws us together. The coating of latke grease as we slide through the Hanukkah party. In the end, the latke is a source of shared enjoyment. Now, let's look at the connection among the parts of the latke itself. The shredded ingredients start out as separate and distinct, but in forming the latke, they bind together, maintaining their unique contribution to the whole, but together forming something better. Is there any better analogy for our shul? I believe we are more like the integrated, interdependent latke than a mere piece of dough wearing fruit-flavored jewelry. In some ways, maybe we are the latke. We are in this together, and that means we bring along those who might be a little crusty around the edges or a little mushy in the middle. Like the latke, our community works well when we all work together. We are greater than the sum of our oddball parts. By contrast, what happens if a hamantash doesn't stay pinched perfectly together? It's ruined. It's worthless. It's ruined because the hamantash is prissy. If it's not perfectly neat and cornered, then it's not a hamantash. Here at Beth El, we do well with imperfection. I only have a total of 10 minutes, and as you can see, I'm trying to cook latkes, so I'm going to hit some of the highlights. of our imperfection. Until recently, we rarely heard what was going on the Bema in Atlantic City. And yet, we continued to come. We don't always get emails right on the first try, but somehow we make it to the myriad of families, ahava, sisterhood, b'nai mitzvah events, more or less on time. Sometimes we even end up in the right room. Our overmatched parking lot simply inspires us to slap on our Fitbits and march from Yemenville to our shul, collecting step after step after step. Would a Hamantash put up with such flaws? Of course not. We are a shul only a Latke could love. Miracles. The Latke sits at the symbolic center of our Hanukkah nace. Can you say the same for the Hamantash's symbol, the hat of a villain? One need not be a Talmudic scholar to figure out the message God was sending us in the miracle of the Hanukkah story. God was not hinting at the miracle of deep-fried Hamantash. As it is written, and I'm loosely translating here, fry a latke when you rise up and before you sleep. Smear oil on your children and on the doorpost. I may be a little off, but you get my point. Between blood loss on the grater, which I spared you and came with a mix already prepared, and third-degree burns from the frying oil, I've swallowed my pain here today. It's a miracle in and of itself that the latkes make it to the table in the first place. In this world of ours, we need to celebrate miracles when we can. Rabbi Greg symbolizes the miracle of becoming a rabbi. And if you knew him in his college days, as my husband did, you know just what a miracle it is. It is also no small miracle that a community this diverse, this large, this opinionated, could come together and agree on anything, let alone the succession plan for our clergy. For our next miracle, we will begin working the circuit to convince another unassuming rabbi to join our imperfect miracle, our latke of a community, led by our latke of a rabbi, and risk being compared to holiday fried food. In closing, I'd like to offer these latkes to our incoming senior latke, Rabbi Harris, and our soon-to-be latke emeritus,
Thank you, sir. Okay, well, as much as we can.